Welcome to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Sam and I are again happy to have Athletic Director at CHS, Brent Duncan, join us. And Brent, I see a IHSAA jacket on. Are you heading for,
I'm headed outside
for an event?
It says something be warm.
Oh, okay. That's a good-looking jacket.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. Do you wear that at events of the IHSAA?
I don't know. I had this one made just so when I was cold outside at events I could wear it. So
that's a good idea.
I don't know if I'm pretty important, but they like to have their logo out there when you're outside and doing something. So.
Sam, I'm impressed.
I'm always impressed with him.
I don't know about that, but thanks.
What's a big event coming up at IHSAA in Indianapolis? What's next on your guys' calendar?
Well, we met yesterday and interviewed for the next Student Advisory Committee kids that'll take place. It's made up similar to the board, but 18 kids, and every year they re-elect 9. So we had 20 interviews yesterday that the 18 kids interviewed the 20 incoming. We actually had one that got us down to the final 20, and we'll find out whether he made it for next year or not. But that'd be Evan Schaefer. Hopefully he'll make it, but those other 18 kids are making that decision. He'll find out either today or tomorrow. But he had a good interview.
What's their job?
They run a student leadership conference in Plainfield in June, and then they work all the state events, and they help with Special Olympics and raise money and all those good things. So.
Are these kids seniors or what?
9 of them will be juniors and 9 of them are seniors. So the 9 seniors are going out and they're going to replace them with 9 incoming juniors, and the juniors will rise to be the seniors, and they're the leaders, and the juniors learn, and they just keep rotating 9 new ones every year. So
it's quite an honor, I would think, Sam.
I would think so.
Yes.
So does the board listen to them then if they have comments or suggestions? You said Student Advisory Board. Do they?
Yeah, I think
they advise.
They give suggestions, you know, if they go run some of the area principal meetings. Well, I'll be at one next Tuesday at Jennings County, and there'll be some kids there that'll help out at that. And then, you know, we had one about Olivia McMillan. She played volleyball and softball here. She's a senior at Ball State there. She was the only one I know that we've had on, at least since I've been here. So we've tried the last couple of years, but you know, there's 406 schools in the state, and everybody can nominate one. And then there was actually 65 kids that applied this year. And then Evan got down to the final 20, and we'll find out if he's one of the lucky 9s. I told him the other day he did a good job, and we were proud of him. Just sometimes it's just a numbers game. So in case he didn't make it, there's nothing to be ashamed about. They all gave great interviews, so nobody's going to go wrong with any of those 20 kids that they select of those 9. But you know, you got to have so many guys, you got to have so many girls, you got to have so many in District 1, and so many out of District 2, and so many out of District 3. So sometimes you just get caught in a numbers game of what seats that are coming open. So
does class come into that too, or
they try to get one of each class? You know, try to get the District 1, which is the Northern District, represented by a 1, 2, 3, and 4 if possible. They have a private. They try to get a private and a minority seat. So, you know, sometimes it's just unfortunate that the seat you have to offer is not available, or that area is already full, or has too many kids in that district already. So we'll see. Well, we wish he did as well as anybody yesterday. So
good.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
What kind of questions do you ask these kids?
We don't ask any of the kids. Ask them also.
Oh, okay.
They ask them how they heard about it. They ask them some funny ones to see how they react. So the 6 kids that were in here yesterday all did a great job of asking questions, and it's about a 10 to 15 minute session, and they go to the next room for 10 to 15. They got 3 rooms, so about 45 minutes they're out. And I have no idea what they ask on the other side, but I know what our kids ask on our side. So,
as a member of the executive committee, you guys and gals spend a lot of time on business for the IHSAA, don't you?
Yeah, I mean that's part of it, which is an honor, and
sure.
You know, we're thankful to do it. And there's a lot of great people that I've met in the last year, and I'm sure there'll be many more in the next 2 years, as it's a 3-year term. So, but that's part of it. It's all about giving back to the kids, because that's all that matters. Is they have the things they need, and things are doing the right way from everybody. And you know, you vote on bylaws, and you listen to meetings, and take suggestions, and take complaints back, and send them to the right people. And
we're happy to have you join us from Connersville representing us. It's really it's a feather in our cap, I think.
Well, I'm just blessed that I got a chance to get voted in by the people in the District 3 in the southern part, and hopefully with my terms up, I made a comment today. I wasn't sure because, you know, we're dropping from 4A to 3A, but the bylaws allow you to stay on your seat in case of consolidation or fluctuation in enrollment. And then, of course, when the term's up, I'd have to rerun. If we still 3A, I'd have to rerun as a 3A seat instead of a 4A seat. So just depends on when that seat opens up. So
I think it's a good opportunity for people to know about us here around the state, that you're able to meet other people and hopefully give a good impression to
Well, I hope so.
those of us here in Fayette County.
We try, and you know, it's funny because when you give out awards and you give out medals, then I taught at Knox High School in '84 and '85, and I still had a couple boys I coached, that one is still coaching, and one coached girls at North Judson, and one was assistant coach at Westfield, and they had a sister, Annie, who's a state trooper, and I'm standing at the state games giving out awards. She says, I heard that name come on. I'm like, I wonder if that's the same one that taught me when I was like a 7th or 8th grader in 1984, 85. And so afterwards, I got done out, and she came up and tugged me on the shoulder and says, do you remember me? Well, of course I do, because I know her two brothers. And she's standing in her 25 years as a state trooper. So it's just the people you run back across that you haven't seen for a while that,
that has
hear
to be
your name,
rewarding.
and it's like, So it was nice to see her again after, oh gosh, I taught her in 85 to 87. So, you know, however many years ago, 30. So.
Yeah.
Any rules changes coming up for any of the sports upcoming?
There'll be a couple in football. I think they're going to go to allow the kids to play 6 quarters in a week, and they're going to have a mercy rule next year in football, and we'll see if that carries over into the other sports. But
What kind of a rule?
mercy rule.
What is? What's
A lot of
mercy?
states have it already. So, for example, if you're behind 35 points at halftime, the clock will not stop in the second half except for a score and a timeout. So
That really makes it hard on
you announcers.
yeah, because we have people that sponsor.
Well, let's hope
broadcasts.
we're never in the mercy rule.
Well, I hope
That's
we're
the
not. I hope we're not.
So, but there's a lot of schools, you know, that get beat by people by 50 and 60 points consistently, and then the problem in the past, the younger kids can only play 5 quarters in a week. Well, if you play a JV game on Monday, you got to wait till the 4th quarter to get your kids in. So your varsity's still playing in the 3rd. Well, now you got the 6th quarter, so they'll be able to sub those kids in a little bit earlier and get some of those better kids out where it may not be as bad a spread. But once you get to 35, the clock doesn't stop. If you get back to 28, it's going to keep going. So it's not helpful for you guys. I understand that.
May just have to. Well, hopefully that it's the other way, that our opponent.
That's correct.
And we're that far ahead.
Sure.
And
Be like the
if we're
TV
that
or-
far ahead, I may just have to take a break during play. So
You'd be like the TV and put the little picture in the corner and have the message on the right side. See if you can figure that one out with the radio.
For radio, I have to get Fran to help me figure
You can
that
help
out.
the TV
Well,
side.
we-
If you get that figured out for radio, you can probably retire and make some money.
I probably could.
And that starts with season in August?
Yeah, so I'll start in August. So,
Okay.
and then they're allowing tennis coaches to talk a little bit more, and golf has some new rules where there's no longer circle 10s, it's double par. You get the double par, you pick your ball up. You don't even have to finish the hole. So just trying to speed the pace of play up a little bit in golf. So.
Right.
What is it now with tennis? The coach can't talk to him?
Well, you can only talk at certain times, so they're trying to allow them to talk, 20 seconds at a time. And then typically in the past, a kid on the JV team could play a single match. Well, now they can play more than one match. So if we have 8 kids and they got 15 or vice versa, then the team with 8 could have a little extra JV time to get every kid with 15 a chance to have a little bit of match in. So.
Speaking of football, what does Coach Kelly have in mind for the summer? And
Oh, he's got his schedule mapped out. It's in and out there. We're already in the limited contact time, so they're doing 2 hours a day, 2 days a week right now. And they're in the weight rooms the other days, and he's in there in the mornings. If they want to come in the morning and lift, you can condition all the time. They'll go to camps, and they'll go to some 7-on-7s and go to the Colts complex a few times. And I know we're going to Salem again, so it's a nice little drive for a little 7-on-7 tournament. And used to take him to Trine University. I don't know if he's going back to Trine this year or not, but
He really works it, doesn't he?
he's got it all mapped out, schedule-wise, and he's got his practice plans and dates and times already for August and September and October figured out, and he's hard at it. So
first game is August.
the date about August 24th, give or take, 17th, somewhere right in
I
there,
thought it was the 23rd.
or whatever day's Friday.
It's the third Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Usually a third Friday.
That's probably about right, because we start school about August 7th. And
At
it's a couple
Richmond
weeks
this
later.
year, correct?
We'll be at Richmond.
Does the IHSA have jurisdiction over the summer programs?
We have rules and guidelines that they have to follow, so yes. So what you can do in season, out of season, during school, out of school, when summer starts, when summer ends, when's the last time you have camp?
When's the sun come up and when the sun goes down?
I haven't got that far. But, the Football Coaches Association's done a good job of limiting the number of times. They can do 12 things in the summer with their helmets and stuff. So they've done a good job of limiting how much time they're putting in the summertime with everybody. So everybody's kind of consistent. There's some other sports trying to jump on board to get that kind of more organized, so everybody's kind of doing the same thing. Because you know as well as I do, there are people that do a lot more than certain people, and some don't do hardly anything, so they're trying to regulate it just a tad. But it's coming from the individual Sports Coaches Association mostly.
Looking at football, what's the outlook? What do you think this year?
Well, you know, the outlook is to win 10-0. That's the goal.
Okay.
I know there's a lot more kids coming to workouts than there were in the past.
Good.
And Adam's excited about that. And I know he's been to some clinics and some conferences, and he's got some ideas about offense. And you know, so you put the pads on and you suit them up and know how they actually want to perform, and there's somebody standing across from them. So.
And the Eastern Athletic Conference still has the break of 3A and 4A, so the Spartans will be
well, we're going to be whatever. I think the unfortunate part is one of them is going to be small enough now to be 3A, so we would actually have 5 3A schools and 3 4A schools, but the bylaws actually say the 4 largest schools. So one of those 3A is typically going to be in the big division. I know there's been some joking about having Greensburg and Franklin County switch. I think Greensburg's a little bit smaller than Franklin County still. Just having them switch them, we could have the Predators side and the Hunter side. The Predators and the Warriors. You could have the Spartans and the Trojans and the Pirates and wherever else I'm missing. And you can have the Lions and the Tigers and the Wildcats and the Bulldogs. So you know how that goes. But that was Mr. Stonefield at East Central's idea. So he's been trying to think about it.
He's the Knights and the Trojans.
Trojans and the Pirates could be
Pirates, yeah.
Kind of be the Warrior side or the whatever, and the other ones are all the animals.
That might be kind of fun. And it wouldn't change it that much.
Yeah, personally, we should just all play all 7 of them, have them all count, and just be one big division. But we'll keep pushing that one, but till everybody buys into that one, that'll be a tough sell. So.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I don't think, to...
I think that was part of the setup when Pam was moving us in, that they would agree to take 2 of us in if we were in divisions.
I see.
Because at that time, East Central and Lawrenceburg did not play each other. Now, East Central and Lawrenceburg play each other, but Rushville dropped East Central after year 1. So now you can't drop anybody without getting permission. I'm not dropping any of the 7. They're in our conference. We need to play them all. So.
Exactly.
Right.
But I know there's been some thoughts of other schools coming in, but that's kind of been on the back burner for a while. So to me, if we have, it gets tough when you get to 10, because we know what happens when you get to 10. It's too easy to split off. So
we found that out.
Yeah, the hard, especially if you're in the wrong spot. If you're in the wrong location to the other 5, it's too easy to make conferences anymore. So hopefully it'll be good.
It'd be great to have a Spartans have a big team because we have been seeing them with teams larger. East Central, as an example, has
100
plus.
Well, our goal is to get all of our get our middle school kids to stay out and stick with it. You know, some of them are probably going to go to soccer, and some may do other things.
Right.
But you know, we're definitely trying to have a freshman schedule, and the extra quarters are going to help. And we try to keep our freshmen together and let them practice together. We don't want to have them practice with the varsity kids, and or play have their own locker room and be off to themselves, unless there's just that one phenomenal athlete like the Mason Parrish kid that came through at Lawrenceburg for 4 years. But those are rare gems. So we try to keep our freshmen isolated from everybody as much as we can, let them practice on their own so they have a year of development. There's a big difference between 13 and 14-year-old middle school football and now you're playing 18 and 19-year-olds, and the physical size does cause a little bit of problems. So we're working on those things to make sure that can happen. Our goal is to keep all of our freshmen and play them as freshmen, and hopefully we'll be able to just move them to the JV next year and have the next freshman. That's the goal, but we have to get our kids to keep coming out. And it's not just football. It's lots of sports where kids think, well, I can't be varsity, so I just don't want to play. Well, not everybody's going to be a varsity athlete at age 13 or 14. So that seems to be the trend in today's society. That if I'm not varsity right away, then
Right.
Well,
or a starter or playing thousands of minutes or whatever.
You see that in the one and dones in college
Oh,
as well.
absolutely.
I mean, that mentality carries on there as well.
It starts there and it trickles its ways down to, you know, I was coaching basketball a few years back and we had a parent who wanted guaranteed playing time for their kid on the JV team, and this was in the 90s. So it's like, well,
Sorry, yeah.
as Coach Bullington told me, all guaranteed playing time was at the park. So we went on, moved on down the road, I think. So,
Well,
but,
rightfully so.
As a coach, how much do you rely on the kid that's the locker room leader, more or less, and how important is that? And
well, I think it's important that every team has that person that can either lead by. It's nice to have one that can lead by example and also be a little bit vocal at times, but sometimes those don't go hand in hand.
Sure.
So, but just to have a kid that comes in or more than one kid that comes in and works hard every day and does all the right things, and you hope that's your best player, because if your best player is doing all the right things,
that's a good example.
it does set a good example for the other ones to follow. So, and I think for the most part, we have a lot of kids who do work hard. And, you know, I'm not saying that some of them can't work harder. I don't think they know how hard they can possibly work sometimes. They think they're working hard, and they could probably go a little bit harder, but that's the coach and the dad side in me. So, but I think our coaches give them the opportunities to be better than they are, and it's a matter of they got to take the bite of the apple and buy into the program consistently.
Right. Any change in the facilities at CHS?
Yeah, we've done some upgrading. You know, we put the new bowl floor in a few years ago, new tennis courts, and new softball field is up and running, and we resodded and put the water system on the soccer field this fall, so that's better for our kids, and we'll just keep plugging away. And
A little bit at a time.
yeah,
Still,
that's what it takes.
moving dirt, or are they
Moving dirt.
pouring any concrete?
Didn't move any dirt today. It was a little wet, so still moving dirt at the field house. Hopefully it's still on schedule, and I think it's now for January, so of 2020. So that'll be a great addition
Yes,
for our
it will.
kids and our school corporation. So
It will.
we're excited.
We might look at this week's CHS sports schedule. Monday, the baseball home with East Central, softball at Batesville, boys golf home with Oldenburg Academy, Batesville and Franklin County. On Tuesday, girls tennis home with Centerville, co-ed track at Greensburg. Newcastle also takes part in that. Softball home with Shelbyville and baseball home with Union County. On Thursday, Cambridge City Lincoln at Connorsville for a tennis match. Spartan golf team at Richmond. Co-ed track meet will be at Eaton, Ohio, and the baseball at East Central. On Friday, baseball with Anderson at Spartan Field. Saturday, tennis team in the Richmond Invitational. Softball with Lawrenceburg at Connorsville. In middle school sports, the baseball team at Nicetown Tuesday. Home Friday with South Dearborn. Saturday, a doubleheader at Cambridge City Lincoln, first pitch at 2:30. Softball at Rushville Tuesday, home Wednesday with Newcastle. The golf is home Wednesday with Rushville. Home Thursday with Northeastern, and track and field, a home meet on Thursday with Franklin County. Softball team, doubleheader, win.
Yeah, this past week, yeah. You know, we had kind of got on a roll and had a bad letdown at Mount Vernon. And sometimes I think that's more mental than physical. We have a pretty good softball team, but you know how you get those teams in your head sometimes that you just feel like you can't beat. And they have some good girls. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm not sure their rate runs better than us. So, but I was going to make a comment that most of our baseball games have moved from 5:30 to 6. I know the schedule says 5:30, but we bumped them back to 6 to get a little bit more games under the lights, plus a little practice time if the other team's not playing. We just have the one field, so it gives them a little time of practice. But except for this Friday, we did bump it back to 5:30 since it's a doubleheader, so we can start at 5:30 instead of 6 to get Anderson back home just a little bit earlier. So
You talked a little bit ago, football, new mercy rule. Is there a run rule or mercy rule or anything in softball and baseball?
10 runs after 5. So
Okay.
most sports. So we got to utilize that this week in baseball, I believe, down at North Decatur and South.
In our favor?
We took them in our favor.
Good.
So I think 12-2 and maybe 10-1. We may have got to use the second game, but softball got 2 wins at South Dearborn this weekend, and they're supposed to play tonight at Batesville, but Batesville couldn't get their field ready today, so they're they're postponed for this evening, and trying to find a makeup date for that. East Central's bringing in their varsity baseball team tonight. They're 3-1, and we're 2-2, so it'd be nice to. 3-1's leading the conference, and there's 3 teams at 3-1, and we're at 2-2. So hopefully we get a win tonight, and
Yes.
that'll throw us towards the top and gives the kids a little bit of confidence.
All the sports are doing well, the spring sports. it
Yeah,
seems.
tennis has improved drastically from last year to this year, and I think they put a lot more time in the summertime, and they'll continue to get better. And you know, golf is young.
Yes.
Joan has been our leader, and
Yes.
you know, we got to get some kids out that want to play golf all summer long to get better, because that's when you're going to get yourself better doing clinics, and I think that'll come when we were kind of without a coach all summer with JJ at seminary school, and I think I beat every bush in Connersville found before I found someone that was willing to take the job, and that pulled them away from the middle school, so then we had to look down there. So I think you get time, we get kids out on the golf course, we'll be okay. And then, you know, track and fields got beat the first meet with the boys lost, and the girls won, I think, on the very first meet, and then at Centerville. They both won at Centerville, and then Rushville got the boys won, and the boys lost, and the girls won, and then they both. So they're heading in, and they got to meet tomorrow night. So.
And then the sectionals coming up in 2 sports at CHS.
Yeah, well, the boys and girls track sectional, and then we'll have the girls tennis sectional. So won't be long, and hopefully the girls softball will win. And I think it's our year to host the regional if we win the sectional. So
That's good.
So they alternate every year. So which even numbers and odd numbers sectional winners, and then the regionals will host those. So
We talked about football and basketball going to 3A, and the assignments will be made shortly.
hopefully by the end of this month is
Okay.
the goal. So our next board meeting is the 28th, 29th on a Monday. So we'll see what comes out. I don't know if it's going to be released that day or not, but I know there are people working on it right now. So
And
I can't say
you're
much.
involved in the baseball.
yeah, I'll be with baseball and softball in the spring.
Okay.
So that's not till August. So
How many members on these boards, or how many on this committee, on these committees?
I don't know yet. There'll be so many
Until
office
you get
staff,
there,
and
huh?
there'll be, yeah, there's going to be about, I want to say they said 7, but don't quote me on that. So
And how many executive committee members are there?
19.
Okay.
But there are other ADs and principals that are also on the committees that are not on the
see.
executive board. So
Okay.
Big job.
yeah, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Lots of
I
work,
bet.
but that's
I
okay.
bet, yeah.
So get to meet a lot of great people.
I bet you do, and hopefully it'll be an advantage to us in a way. I'm sure you're talking to people, aren't you?
Well, I talk a little bit, but you do your best. But, you know, everybody's there, hopefully for the best of every kid in the state, not just your own school. But
Sure.
if you can use your mind and your mouth a little bit to maybe persuade someone to give you a shot. But of course, once the sectional is drawn, then it's going to be up to the ADs in the sectional who's going to host. So once they draw the lines, then somebody's going to have to host meetings of who's going to host volleyball and who's going to host soccer and who's going to host basketball and who's going to host. So that'll all take place once the lines are drawn. Then it's the ADs in that sectional group will set who's going to host and what year you're going to host and where it's going to be all the time, or are we going to move venues, and who's got the best venue for baseball and who's got the best venue
Right.
for softball.
We know we have the best venue for basketball.
Well, I'm personally biased to that too.
Yeah.
Be interested to see where we go. I don't know if we'll go north, or I don't know if we'll go south. So, as Kerry said, we lost to the 3A sectional winner in the north, and we lost to the 3A sectional winner in the
That's
south on
right.
the same weekend. So,
That was then, and this is now.
that's a different year, and new kids and new outlook. So,
Facilities, how much does that determine how sectional is determined?
well, you got to have a place to host a number of people that might be there. You know, when we were with Newcastle, in the 4A, it'd be hard to put 9,000 people in somebody else's gym, and if by chance the right two teams are in the final,
Yes.
even coming to our place, we're going to turn 4,000 people away. I probably have to buy a lot of security tickets to security officers to keep my ticket takers from getting yelled at. But last time when we hosted, we didn't host when we were in 1 year, maybe when we were in the 3A and we went
1 year.
south. So it's been a while. So it'll be interesting to see where we go. But they look at how much it costs in your workers at work and how much your price is compared to how much you're making, and et cetera, et cetera. So
I see.
you try to find a place that's got a nice compromise of not too much expenditures and enough money coming in to make a lot of money for not only the schools but the IHSA. So,
With the new softball field, could we have a sectional here sometime?
but we have to have lights. So that's one of the things
Okay.
with softball and baseball. You got to have lights on your field. So,
I see. And the track and field, though, I mean, we hosted that several
yeah, you
times.
never know what will happen. There's been some talk about rerouting some track and field a little bit and maybe not having as many, or so who knows what will happen when realignment takes place and people want to move, or somebody builds a new facility and they
Yes.
want to go there, and sometimes that plays a role in it. So,
We have a gymnastics sectional, didn't we?
yep, we have gymnastics sectional.
Okay.
If we had our way, we'd have the gymnastics regional too, but we haven't got them pulled away from Columbus East yet. Although Columbus East coach after 45 years just retired, so maybe it's time P. Hughes, their AD, says maybe you could just take that from now on. So, but we'll see.
A lot of work involved in hosting, though, right? For you and your staff and getting.
Yeah, there's a
getting
lot of
workers, or-
paperwork, but it's just about getting it done and having the right people in place and having good help. And fortunately, we've had great help with track and we've had great help with gymnastics. And those people come back. And, you know, I know we don't host wrestling, but like I take the classic, we have the same people constantly coming back and work. So that makes it easy on us when we do that. And behind the paperwork scene, that's just part of my job. So what happens there is my business, and nobody has to know how much it is or how little it is. It's just got to be done. And the best part is just putting a good show on for the people that come and take care of them when they get here.
I would think hosting the Spartan Classic would give you a lot of experience to handle something like that, an event like that.
Well, it's with the wrestling, you got to have. We don't have enough Wi-Fi pool right now to run what they call track wrestling. So you got to be able to run track wrestling in the venue, and right now we don't have that. So it's something we're working on, and in time we might be able to do that. But Franklin County and South Dearborn did a great job with the wrestling, and
Okay.
those two schools have been pretty much wrestling schools for a long time. So they kind of enjoy hosting those. So, but not out of the realm. It's just a matter of getting it all done in the right way.
But the Classic will be another Classic come September.
Oh yeah, I think it's number 47, I believe, or 48. I have to go back and look at my notes. I think last year was 46, so I think next year is 47.
Okay, and the Spartans go to Kokomo for the Phil Cox tournament on the 27th and 28th, and the Classic is when here?
27th and 28th.
Oh, because you will be.
Well, I'll be at one of those, and my assistant will be at the other one. So we'll see.
Okay, so 27th and 28th will be busy times.
Oh yeah.
In December, right?
And the Rumble on the River for the girls is the 3rd and the 4th of January of next year, so it's right after New Year's. So
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a change, isn't it?
yeah, I don't know if it had to do with their gym or what they wanted to do, but he threw those dates out, and that's what he's going to run with. So either we can get in it or we can't. So if we can't, but we're good. So.
Okay. Does that conflict with boys basketball, regular season?
No, because the next weekend is the first weekend we come
Okay.
back and play. So
Thanksgiving is late this year, and the Spartans will not open until the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
that's normal.
Okay.
It'll be different this year because I think our kids get out of school on Tuesday this coming year, so it'll be a little different. So
But I think Thanksgiving is way late in November, I think. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
I think it is.
If it's a normal calendar, everything rolled back about 6
I think
days
it's
from
the
last year.
27th or something like that.
So that'd probably be about right because the
So
calendar
that
rolled
throws
back 6 days
the
for.
schedule.
Well, everybody's on the same schedule, so you just do the corresponding week. So if everybody's done their schedule right, it automatically rolls it back
Okay.
for you on the. So when I put the contracts in, it'll automatically put the dates in for the future that you have your contracts for. So as long as everything in there is good, we're all good.
Is the basketball schedule finalized?
Boys is, girls is looking for a game as Muncie Central dropped us. So I think they're going to have a county tournament.
How hard will that be to pick up another?
Just depends on who you want to get.
Okay.
So it won't be too hard. There's always somebody looking for a game someplace. So just a matter of where you want to drive and who you want to play.
Thanks, Brent,
So-
for all the info. Always appreciate you joining us.
Always happy to be here. Anytime to
Thanks,
talk about the
everybody, for
Spartans.
watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3.